We're here to help make a difference because these children are who we serve on a daily basis, and we want to make a difference in their lives. With your help in your districts and your schools, we will be able to make that happen. So as we go on, we want to make sure that we know that we do have some strategic partners. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, first of all, saying thanks to Walmart. We know that they're putting some money to support this. They're a great community agency that's working with us to make a difference. We also have the National Association of Elementary School Principals Foundation. They are an absolutely fantastic group, and I was part of them for many years when I was a principal. We have the Breakfast in the Classroom program. But we also have Lima City Schools. And Carrie, would you like to talk a little bit about Lima, the makeup in that?
When I started in 1998, we had 14 schools with 5 satellites. In 1999, we received 90% funding for new buildings from the Ohio School Facilities Commission. So we got 7 brand new buildings with 2 remodeled schools, and they all have carpet. So that's very important when we look at breakfast in the classroom. All of these schools do have carpet. Our current enrollment here at Lima City Schools is 4,100. We are currently at 83% free and reduced. Our ethnic composition is 39.7 Afro-American, 43.1 Caucasian, 2.6% Hispanic, and 14% multiracial. I currently have 55 permanent food service employees with about 20 subs.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Children's Hunger Alliance. We've been a partner with school districts here in the state of Ohio and the Ohio Department of Education for many years, over 40 years. But over the last 8 years, we have been working with school districts across the state with the Department of Ed to help make a difference with breakfast in the classroom. We have some fantastic programs, and we're going to showcase a few of them here today. You will be seeing some videos, and we're going to tell you that the videos are in there for a specific reason to help hammer home some points. They could be points about students, what teachers say, what principals say, and what we're hoping to do is to make a difference. But one of the things that you need to know is know a little bit more about the people here and who we are. And first of all, I'm going to ask Carrie Woodruff to introduce herself. She is the Food Service Director of Lima.
Well, I graduated from Bluffton College with a bachelor's degree in food nutrition. I worked at a local hospital for 10 years in the dietary and cafeteria management. I became a certified dietary manager at that point. In 1995, I worked for a contract management company, which was Airmark, and worked in the business and dining. And if you know anything about contract management, they are definitely about profit and loss. In 1998, I started here as the food service director at Lima City Schools. In 1999, I became a school nutrition specialist. And then in 2002, I got my master's from Bluffton University in organizational management. We have 9 schools, and like I said, 55 employees, and we work very well collaboratively.
Hey, Jill, would you like to give a little bit of
you? My name is Jill Ackerman, and I serve as the Assistant Superintendent for the Lima City Schools. I have been with the Lima City School District. This is my 23rd year. I began here in 1988 as a substitute teacher in special education. I taught in 2 of our elementary schools, and then I moved to one of our middle schools and taught special education there. I became the assistant principal of that middle school and served in that capacity for 5 years. And after that, I became the principal of that middle school and served in that capacity for 5 years before becoming the assistant superintendent, which I have held this position. This is my 8th year. And I will have you know that when I served as the middle school principal, we were in the renovated building, and we did have carpeting in all of our classrooms, and we did go through the installation of the Breakfast in the Classroom program.
And I'm Charlie Keselowski, and I'm the slow learner around here. I'm around 2 fantastic ladies who have done a great job with Lima City Schools. I started out teaching in the school district in Southeast Ohio as a first grade teacher for 10 years. Then I moved on up in the world. I became a principal just like many of you. I had a building of 950 kids, 60-some teachers. 19 buses that brought in 950-some kids, all within 2 or 3 minutes of each other. I was also the athletic director, and who knows, a lot of other things. After I left from the Department of Shenandoah Elementary, Nova Local Schools, I came to the Ohio Department of Education, where I really started meeting up with Carol Oxley and Lima City Schools in the Urban 21, dealing with homeless education, federal programs. And yes, we're going to talk a little bit about federal programs today, and adequate yearly progress and academic performance. I was there for 10 years working in all the major cities. And yes, I've been with Children's Hunger Alliance now for 8 years. In our organization, we have been able to help make a difference with children and make a difference all the way through with everything that we're doing. Our key ingredient is at Children's Hunger Alliance. We want to make a difference, and we will make a difference, and we're hoping to do that. As we move forward, we want to talk about breakfast in the classroom, and it does make a difference. We are going to click on a quick video for you to take a look at. This is in Ohio, and we want to get the picture of what actually happens. And it will be coming up.
As dawn comes to homes across Ohio, children begin to stir from their sleep. In many, the sounds and smells of breakfast fill the air, but in others, too many others, the only thing greeting children who arrive are the vacant, cold pains of hunger. So they dress and go to school, the ache they feel, concealed from their friends and their teachers. For almost 500,000 innocent children, 1 of every 6 children in Ohio, this tragedy is a reality for their bodies, their minds, and their future. The impact is huge because hungry children cannot learn.
The key ingredient there is the same thing that you're dealing with us each and every day. Those kids do come to school on a daily basis in each one of your cities, and they do have a problem. They do want to make a difference. As we go on, we're going to move to some of the research, and the research indicates that, and I'm going to say it this way, the Food Research and Action Center and everyone else has great research, but we also have USDA that has research. I'm going to focus on the person at the bottom of the list, Laura Commodore, former principal of Walnut Ridge High School. She was a fantastic lady. She indicated that our data shows that we have a definite decrease in discipline and an increase in attendance and an increase academically. Key factor, that makes a big difference. She indicates that this is the most intensive, simplest, and intervention program that they could ever have. You will hear from her later on in our presentation. As we go on, the research says consuming breakfast improves children's performance in demanding mental tasks. You've seen this. In children who eat breakfast show improved cognitive functions, attention, and memory. That's fantastic. We want to make sure that that happens. There are reasons for not eating, and you see some of these things. But with breakfast in the classroom, a lot of these barriers are automatically overcome. You know, in Ohio, yes, we still have schools that do not have breakfast programs. We have increased over the last 8 years from over 3,000 schools offering breakfast to over 4,000. But we're still only serving about 50% of the low-income kids that participate in lunch, participate in breakfast. And this is about the average throughout many of the major cities. As we look forward, there are reasons, and yes, kids do oversleep. Parents, 2-parent families, they have hectic mornings. There's lack of time. But if you provide children an opportunity to socialize before they come into school, they'll choose that versus coming in and eating. Middle school students and high school students really aren't hungry first thing in the morning. As we're looking at that, we found our research that breakfast after first period or after they get to school as part of the school day is extremely important. And one other thing is when you offer breakfast before school, if you have a late bus, most of those kids are out of luck. They don't have anything to go to. So having breakfast as part of the school day, breakfast in the classroom, that's absolutely fantastic. There are other school-related activities going on in the morning. If you go into a middle school, you may have your different meetings going on before school. You may have other things happening. Teachers may be going in other areas. But the key ingredient, these are some reasons of why children aren't eating. And in Lima, am I correct, Sherry, that all these kids are able to participate in breakfast as part of the school day?
Yes, all of our students are hungry. So when they come to school, they need something to eat and be nourished.
And has it made a little difference in their academics?
It has. We have seen our district go from academic emergency into academic watch, into continuous improvement. Several of our elementary schools, we have 2 that are excellent. All the other ones have gone into continuous improvement. Our attendance has improved because kids want to get to school on time. They don't want to miss that first half hour of school because they know that they're going to be able to have breakfast at that time. There are a lot of factors that have been involved in this, from healthy students that we have now because they're getting the nutrition they need. They don't need to see the school nurses often, and just a happier student population, and we're doing a lot better academically.
Okay. I may have missed a slide, but that's fine. I want to go on to this next one where I'm going to talk about something from a principal to a principal. One of the things we find out is we go out, and when I was at Shenandoah Elementary with 950 kids, yes, they started the Ohio proficiency tests. And yes, my superintendent came to me and said, Charlie, you're going to be held responsible. Your contract is going to be, if you don't meet these standards, you're not going to be here next year. So what we go out and we talk to principals and we say, do you want to improve test scores? Do you want to improve attendance? Less trips to the nurse's office, and plus additional federal dollars for your school. Carrie, am I correct that over the last couple of years, your USDA dollars have gone up tremendously?
Extremely, yes. We are very happy with the financial gains that the food service has made.
And we bring this up at this point because any school district, and I know I work with Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Akron, Canton, Youngstown. There's something about each of these districts that makes me extremely uptight. They have local general dollars going to support their program. Well, districts like Lorain City, Lima, Middletown, and some others have put in breakfast as part of the classroom, and they don't have to worry about that. Their dollars that they get from USDA are paying for those things. So with that, teachers are always saying, the principals are saying, we need more teachers. We need more supplies. Well, in a major city like Nashville or Little Rock or Dallas, if you're putting $2 or $3 million in from the general fund dollars into your cafeteria program, that's a whole lot of teachers. That's a whole lot of supplies that you may not be getting. So why do we consider breakfast in the classrooms? All children eat at the same time. Teachers can do lots of things. They can take attendance. They can work in different areas. I was in one school district that basically implemented breakfast in the classroom, and since I did the Title I review a couple years earlier, the superintendent asked me, can you go out and see what's happening in the classrooms? I said, well, breakfast is only 10 minutes long. With that, I said, I can probably jump into 5 or 6 classrooms. So I went into 2 first grades, 2 third grades, and 2 sixth grades. When I went into the 2 sixth grades, I was appalled because no teachers were in the classroom. They were standing outside their doors. To me, that's telling me those teachers weren't really using the time to teach, to take attendance, to get to know their children. I went into the third grades. Fantastic. The teachers were sitting on the desk waiting for the kids to eat. I went into the first grade, and both first grade teachers, one was reading Pippi Longstockings to the kids, the other one was using the carton of milk to talk about fractions. So I said to the superintendent, you need to take the first grade teachers at your next faculty meeting and show them how and what they should be doing during this time. The next item there is the school climate. Wow, what a difference when you go into a school that has breakfast in the classroom. Kids come in, they go in, they're seated, it's quiet. When you go into a school that may be serving breakfast in the cafeteria, you have kids in the cafeteria, but you also have kids maybe in the gymnasium. Or I was in one school district outside of Cleveland that had 400 kids standing outside. Someone opens the door and says, if you want a free breakfast, come on in. Well, not too many kids went in, but also what's happening with those kids outside. So if you're able to have smaller number of kids in an area, such as a classroom, your school climate is going to improve dramatically. And if you're looking at anything from a principal's backing, you want to have kids come in, going to a classroom, and working very quickly. This makes that happen. There are other things here. You don't have to pay for stipends before school for teachers. Carrie, when you had breakfast before school, did you have to pay teacher stipends?
Yes.
Did those dollars come out of the general fund or the cafeteria fund?
Cafeteria fund.
So that made you have to pay more dollars, which made it harder for you to improve the quality of food.
Correct.
So with this, they're in there, and they can make it happen. We also have in Ohio and some other states, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, breakfast in the classroom can count as teaching time, and that's extremely important.
Just want to mention on the slide here at the bottom, that is from our cafeteria, and that is our breakfast train coming back. And if you notice, there's gym scooters, and that's our got milk bag that all of our breakfast is in. So just make note of that when we talk about the different ways of delivery. That's the way to do it.
And the key ingredient is, yes, the American Dairy Association is a great partner. They have their Fuel Up to Play. They work with us on a daily basis. We have a fantastic partnership with them. And if you're in your district and you want to improve breakfast, increase breakfast by 10 or 20%, and you call your American Dairy Association, they're going to be willing to work with you. Well, a couple things we're going to say here. Superintendents and principals. I know that I worked with Carol Oxley, superintendent of Lima City Schools, a number of years. And I can remember, and Jill, am I correct that a number of years ago she basically charged her principals as saying, we need to improve academics, we need to improve attendance, and shouldn't we be doing breakfast in the classroom?
That's correct. We, as a district, when we were in academic emergency, we recognized that we were in trouble, and we knew that we needed to do something differently. So the directive was to principals that we would institute breakfast in the classroom. I was one of those principals in a brand new renovated building with new carpet in my classroom. I was given that charge to do, and as we all know, when the superintendent gives us a directive, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability because we know that it will make a difference, and we know that they're going to be watching. So we did institute it, and we saw great results. The superintendent then, as our performance improves, the superintendent then marks that in our performance ratings. As our attendance is better, our nursing situation is better, our kids are healthier, and then our scores begin to rise.
That is fantastic. And yes, I can say in any school district, when we go in, yes, we'll talk to the food service director, we'll talk to the superintendent, but we know that superintendents set the mark. But also, we did a study from Children's Hunger Alliance with the University of Cincinnati that basically went out and they interviewed principals all across the state. And realistically, we found out, and I found out something, that we need to re-educate the principals. And I'll talk about re-educating the principals later, but principals make about 90% of the decisions on breakfast, of when breakfast is being served. And with that, that is fantastic to know, because if you are the principal, if your teachers want breakfast in the classroom, you can make that happen. And if you want to make that happen, you will.
And I think that also as a principal, when you introduce the concept of breakfast in the classroom, it raises a lot of questions from teachers and a lot of concerns about the physical welfare of the carpeting and the desks and the books and everything. But I think as the principal, you have to be able to sell that in a positive manner. You have to be able to ease their concerns. And we're all in this together. We're doing it for the good of the children because we know that this is what they need to have, and continually reminding them that it'll be fine. We're going to get through it. We may tweak it, and we did tweak it. We made changes. Some people actually taught through breakfast in the classroom. Other people used it as an advisory time. It was however it worked best for that teacher in that classroom with 100% support from the principal.
And you said the key ingredient, collaboration, working together, because, yes, we are making a difference with children, and that's our bottom line. I'm going to hit this one on the left, and we should see a little, I'm going to have to go back. We're going to bring up something.
The breakfast program is one of the most awesome things that we do here. I think our diverse population is very, very important to address food with, to make sure that they have the nutrition to start the day. It really makes a difference in what the boys and girls, how the boys perform, and how they make it through their morning to lunchtime.
The kids come in as they are sitting and eating. The teachers have time to visit with kids that they have never had before. They have a personal contact.
The parents depend on us now to engage our breakfast on top of what they have given them or lack of what they've given them. I would never miss a day because I would have kids with nothing to eat.
Children always want to share stories with their teachers, telling the teachers what they did the night before that has nothing to do with school. But this gives them that time, that structured time every day that they can just sit down with the children and talk to them and get to know them. And the children get to know the teachers.
The teachers have welcomed it into the classroom. We did a little bit of instruction prior to the beginning of doing it.
In the past years, we have had 30 to 40 students who we have served breakfast to in our cafeteria. The problem was that while those 40 were eating, the other 150 were in the rooms. The teachers couldn't get anything started because they knew there were another 40 students still to show up. This way, all children are eating in the rooms at the same time. Not only are they visiting with the teachers, but they are getting their lunch counts for the day, they're taking their attendance. When the breakfast time is over, everybody is ready for school to start.
We have a grab-and-go breakfast, which means the breakfast is just put out in the hallway out front. The students walk through a single file line, and they just grab their breakfast, and then they take back to the classroom.
The way that we do it, as they come in the line, our boys and girls divide outside as they come off of the buses into 1-2s and 3-4s in the hallway. The main hallway they come in, they pass by the sides of the table by grade level and pick up their things. They carry them up into the classroom, put their things away, and engage in breakfast. So it's just become a daily routine for us.
I want to apologize. I missed a slide. I'm going to try to go back to that and play that because it is extremely important, and then we will continue.
We've had a 37% decrease in the number of students that actually end up in the nurse's office, and that is a significant impact on any school system.
Our data shows that we've had a definite decrease in discipline issues, an increase in attendance, and an increase academically.
As you see those things in the videos, we're hoping that you see that you are making the difference. And as you make the difference, you can see exactly how things are going, and we want to make sure that we work with you so that you can see how some school districts have overcome their problems of getting food into the classroom. I know that Carrie here in Lima, and you saw the breakfast bags that she had earlier, and she packages some of the breakfast which go directly into the cafeteria, into the classroom. This takes a little bit of time and effort, but you do that during the day for the next day. Am I correct, Carrie?
Correct. We actually have 3 different delivery styles here at Lima City Schools. The kitchens are left to be there, decide how they do it, as long as the end result's the same. We want to feed the students what they like, hot food's hot, cold food's cold, and accurate accountability counts. The 3 different styles that we have is the one on the past video where the milk crate fits into the barrier, into the got milk bag, and then there's a barrier between the hot and cold items. We do a breakfast train where we loop them together, and if they have to go up to the another floor, they can use the elevator, or we can also do like long trips around different schools. Those gym scooters are only about $6, so it's a pretty economical way to get those heavy bags around. At the high school, we use Rubbermaid totes that are 14-gallon size, and they're based on how many students are in the classroom as to how many meals or breakfasts are in a bag, in a container. The favorite I have is, like the video showed, is the grab and go. We have specific like Rubbermaid carts, and the students just take one item plus their juice or their milk. It's better accountability, and then they take it right into the classroom. So that's my favorite style. The biggest thing that I want to stress about breakfast in the classroom is piloting it. We were fortunate to have 2 principals that wanted to pilot it prior at the beginning of, like, in November. And once the other principals saw how it was going at these schools, they wanted to try it. And a good time to do that is during proficiency. And we actually did a couple classes. Even kindergartners tried it in one class or in one building, and they actually continued for the rest of the school year. The funny thing was, at the kindergarten level, in March, they know how to open their milk containers. They know how to do straws. When they started at the beginning of the school year, when it was mandatory, it was a little bit more procedure than what they thought, but they had lots of teachable moments at the beginning of the school year.
And I think you said the key thing, teachable moments as we go on. Carrie, let me ask you, I have a picture up here of yogurt, water, oranges. Is this going to make any difference to you of what you serve in the classrooms? Are you able to serve all these things?
Sure. Currently, we serve both hot and cold varieties. At the high school, we only can do cold because we have 79 classrooms. Yes, I said 79 classrooms, and we feed over 700 breakfasts daily. We only do items that count as 2 components, but that's a food service thing, so I won't bore you with that. But we have a variety where we do a cereal, fortified super donut, milk. We do a breakfast hot pocket, juice and milk, a pancake on a stick. We do mini pancakes. We do Pop-Tarts. That's occasionally. Kellogg's has a new bagged graham, like cookie snack that's got whole grains. And we also do commodity egg omelets. The average hot item cost is 31 cents, and the average cold item cost is 31 cents. So you add your juice and your milk, which is 37 cents. The average cost for us to produce a breakfast is only 68 cents.
Okay, Carrie, let me ask you this. As you increase participation, were you able to increase the quality of the food?
Yes.
Okay. I say that because most times principals are saying, we want better quality food. Work with your food service director to make that happen. As we move on here, we're going to try to overcome some of the cafeteria concerns. The size of the cafeteria, the location. We have buildings where you have to drop the kids off and they have to walk around to the other side of the building to get to the cafeteria. So we know some of these things that we have worked on, and we really want to make a difference. Here I have pictures of three different areas. Jill, could you tell us about those buildings?
the first building in the top left corner is Washington McKinley Elementary School. That building is no longer there after our building project. You can see now that it was replaced with the building on the right, which is our new Freedom Elementary School. And the picture at the bottom of the screen is our West Middle School cafeteria. That is a cafeteria that will serve over 400 students lunch throughout the day.
Now, am I correct, as you built your new buildings, did you run into a problem with breakfast if you were going to try to feed everyone before school?
Well, the cafeterias that were constructed in the new building are, in many cases, more cafetorium-type rooms. They're much smaller than the traditional cafeteria that we had. We, in our particular building, were able to reduce the size of our cafeteria by almost half to add an additional classroom into our building. So then the realization became that we would not be able to serve all of our students a meal at the same time in the morning, which was at that point how we were doing the breakfast program. We didn't have the space to serve everybody. It made it much more convenient to be able to serve everybody right in the classroom.
So as we're looking at this, and you heard Jill say that they were able to increase the number of classrooms by reducing the cafeteria. And yes, in most places, cafeterias are being transformed into cafetoriums where they're used for gym and cafeteria at the same time. One of the things that we see as a principal, how do we schedule our art, music, and phys ed when we have that in the cafetorium? Well, if you're going to do it in that area, you're going to do breakfast there, then you've reduced the amount of time that you can have art, music, and phys ed in that area because you have to clean it. So the key ingredient is we're trying to help you overcome that barrier. There's also the barrier of scheduling. And you see here that Michigan and Pennsylvania have a policy that they can count breakfast in the classroom as teaching time. This past year, Ohio had legislation passed to be able to make that happen. So that was absolutely fantastic. Finances, we heard a little bit about Carrie talking about a 45% increase in USDA reimbursement. You have seen Reynoldsburg City, and you're going to see Slate Ridge Elementary and Westerville coming up in a couple videos down the road that basically are only about 40% poverty, and they have increased from serving 300 kids a day to over 3,000, no additional staff, and they're doing breakfast in the classroom, and Reynoldsburg quadrupled their USDA reimbursements in 1 year. As you see Carrie here, she has been doing a fantastic job as we move on. Carrie, if you had to say one thing to our principals, what would be the most important thing you would say about the quality of food?
We want the students to want them what they want to eat. So if we have to have hot breakfast, that's what our managers do, is do hot breakfast. Our kids really enjoy the cheese omelets. They're provided by commodities. My ladies don't want to do a lot of work when they have to go back and reorganize it. So we really try to satisfy what the kids want and what their needs are.
And as I'm looking at this, we see accountability, attendance, tardiness, and standardized testing. Are those key things that Lima City really pushes forward?
Well, those are key things that we have been focusing on, and in all of those areas have been able to see improvement with since we started our Breakfast in the Classroom program.
Now you also see Dayton City Schools there in the center. Dayton City Schools I've worked with for 7 years. Teachers Association, the principals, building projects. Nobody wanted to work with us with Breakfast in the Classroom. This past fall, they came to us and said, we think we're ready. Can you come and work with our principals? We had a couple principals do it. Wow. Once they did it, they said, fantastic. Our teachers are now saying we have 10 more minutes of teaching time. As we gather more teaching time, they're a lot happier. So we're trying to meet the needs of everyone. Now, teachers, how do you get them? What are they saying about this? We're going to show you a couple short clips that are going to talk about what happens. And you're also going to see some things of those common questions. What happens with spills? What happens? How do we do them? So we're going to show you a couple right here.
One of the things we might want to talk about is the food service financials. In 1998, when I started with food service, we were $142,000 in the red. So in 2000, I went to Provision 2, which went from 19% participation to 39% participation. In 2003, we started the mandatory breakfast in elementary schools. Due to the building project, 2 middle schools also did it. In 2005, the final middle school went to breakfast in the classroom because of the satellite. Last year, finally, we made it mandatory at the high school. Before that, it was just optional. And like I said, we do 79 classrooms and serve 700 students breakfast every morning at the high school. Currently, we serve 87% breakfast and 85% lunch. Yes, I said our breakfast is more than our lunch, which is very unusual, and very few nationally do this. In May of 2002, we served 271,000 breakfasts. Currently, we served 590,000 breakfasts as of May of 2010. Financially, in 2002, our USDA funds was $290,000. In May 2010, we received $800,000 from USDA funds. I don't know if you caught those numbers, but that's $500,000, $500,000 difference in USDA funds. The food service also supports other district needs, less out of our general fund. We cover all pest control. We pick up a greater percentage of the trash for the district. We actually paid for fingerprinting equipment for our employees. We did generators. We have School Messenger, which principals can use to report their building events, such as an open house or student conferences. We also pay for lunch monitors and security. And at 1 year, ODE actually allowed us to pay for teachers and staff TV shots for the whole district. That was a 1-year thing, but that was $15,000 that the district didn't have to pay for. We, as a food service, assume all expenses for breakfast in the classroom. We pay for trash bags, placemats, trash cans that are yellow, not to be mixed up with the gray classroom trash rooms, and several tilt carts for the building custodians that are on wheels. We also help pay for sanitizer. These are all benefits of breakfast in the classroom.
Fantastic. I think we're back to where we
Every morning we have just a consistent routine that we set up. They come in and put their breakfast on their table, get started for the day, they write their date in their assignment log, and then they'll come to eat breakfast. They have a half an hour to finish it in the morning. Children.
I think it's a very quiet thing. They come in and sit down and eat, and it's more of a calming thing. They know they have a breakfast to look forward to.
For me, the thought that the kids are getting good food to eat every single day, and that they're making a conscious effort to provide them with things that are very healthy, and that the kids are enjoying it so much, that really means a lot to me, you know, as part of the community, that that's being supplied for them.
Kids have really adapted well to cleaning up after their own messes. We've had enough time in the morning so that there is time for them to clean up everything they need to and still get to the academics that they need to afterwards. So yeah, little things that will still occur, but you know, we're also helping to build a little bit of responsibility because they know, you know, this is my area, I need to keep it clean. So
probably one of the neatest things you'll see them helping each other. They'll go, somebody else also gives me coffee, and they come and clean it up. You know, it's not, we don't stop, it's just, they just take care of themselves, and that's usually when you'll see someone helping another person too. As kids get used to it, I mean, any procedure they have eventually becomes routine. They don't have to think about it, we don't have to think about it. They know exactly what to do, they do it, and then it's just, and it's done. So then you make sure every student has got that, and then their brains are working at their full capacity.
Well, as you see some of those, you see that it's extremely important, and teachers can really make a difference, and principals can really make a difference. We're going to go on because we are going to be short on time. You've heard a little bit about the idea of cafeteria staff making things happen. Key here is one thing we find out at Reynoldsburg City and other schools around is the custodians are extremely happy about breakfast in the classroom. This is something we did not know about before. But as we go there, they basically tell us that it's extremely important because of the following. They only have to clean the cafeteria once a day versus twice a day. Kids take care of their area. You heard Mr. Meyer talk about taking care of the area. You heard about the cafeteria. Cafeterias are making more money. That means they can provide additional staff if needed. It's making a difference with the students. How do you get students involved? Carrie, do you survey your students on what they would like to have to eat?
We're always trying new items and wanting them to let us know if they like it or if they don't like it, because again, we want them to be nourished and get what they want. But if there's a new product, we always try it, and we actually try it sometimes at lunch just to see if they can get used to the new product.
And how do parents react to breakfast? Are they enjoying it? Do they like it?
I think that the parents are pleased because part of it is it cuts down on some of the chaos that might happen at home as you're trying to dress them and feed them and get them out the door on time. But the parents know that they can be ensured that they're going to get a good, healthy, nutritious breakfast at school. So it's less of a concern for parents, and quite frankly, it helps them economically that they don't have to worry about having all those products in their house and making sure that that is there for the kids in the morning. So they're very much happy with it. And then additionally, they don't have to worry about getting their children to school early so that they can get them dropped off in time for breakfast or for fear that they might miss breakfast.
And most importantly, get your clubs, get them involved, get them to support it. Do PSAs, and yes, on our website, Children's Hunger Alliance, and we do have some PSAs on that people can download and use. So we're going to be here, we're going to talk a little bit, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back one. I want to get this video because this talks about students, and I'm going to have to.
We have milk, we have cereal, apple juice, and we have nutrition bars.
Academic-wise, I'm like improving a whole bunch of stuff, like a lot, and my grades seem to go up when I eat because I get more energy and I'm more focused in my classwork and my school, so I tend to get good grades.
As you see, Tiffany there is a middle school person, and she basically started the breakfast programs, and when we walked and we met her, she basically said, I didn't have anything to eat at home. I didn't have anything that I could do. I was sick. And yes, you can see she's a growing young lady. But when she says that she's doing a lot better, that's telling us the breakfast there where they had it in that Columbus school where they picked it up in the cafeteria and took it to the classroom, which may not be the best way, but it was their way of making something happen. I'm going to take some minutes now and have Jill talk about the benefits here in Lima.
Well, I think that I've said it before, but we definitely have seen an improvement in our overall academic performance. Our district has gone from academic emergency now into continuous improvement. We have had schools go into an effective status even at the high school level. We have seen our attendance increase dramatically. We have had many fewer visits to our nurse, so we also know that we have much healthier students. We track a lot of our health incidences and report them to the health department. We know that as far as the entire county is concerned, that our students have been far healthier than other students out in the county. We also like to take the opportunity with breakfast in the classroom to use it to work on etiquette with our kids, especially at the middle school level, how to have a meal and have a conversation at the same time, how to use the utensils, how to clean up after yourself, and how to take responsibility. As a district, we are also very much involved in childhood nutrition and trying to combat obesity in our kids. So we know that this breakfast for sure is guaranteed to be nutritious for our kids, and also at the same time, with our poverty rate, being able to help our parents economically. So there really are no, in addition to that, I also wanted to mention the discipline. Less discipline incidents throughout the day because the kids are feeling good, They're much more alert, and they're able to focus. There really aren't any negatives about it. I think at the very beginning, when you're piloting it and you're starting to launch it, there's going to be some apprehension about the potential of losing teaching time. You won't. There'll be some apprehension about carpeting and the facilities itself, and it will not be a problem. You can see from the screen that Charlie's put up here the academic gains that we made. We know that breakfast in the classroom has been a strong contributor in those gains. The schools that are doing the best are some of our biggest populated schools, where we're serving almost 600 kids in one of our elementary schools every day. Our middle schools have over 400 students, and as Carrie talked earlier with our high school, the number of kids that we're serving there. So it can be done. It will make a difference. We encourage you to just take the leap and try it. Piloting it is a great idea. I think once you sell it as a principal, your teachers will come on board, and once they begin to see the benefits of it, they will be happier, the kids will be happier, the parents will be happier, and when your scores are increasing, your superintendent is probably going to be happier too.
So when you make the superintendent and the board happy, then the community's happy?
Everybody's happy. The community will benefit from this because they're going to be proud of the progress that's being made. We're going to be promoting better, healthier lifestyles with our kids and with our community, and we're also helping in an economic way.
Key ingredient is, I think you're saying, that Lima City Schools lives and breathes breakfast, nutrition, quality. You have heard them talk about discipline problems going down. You've heard Curie talk about the financials. You heard her say that they can do some different things to really make people enjoy breakfast. And Carrie, am I correct that with what you're doing, you have some promotional dollars that you provide to schools?
Yes, we actually, each cafeteria is given one event a year of in-kind, free-of-charge fundraisers that the principals are able to use cafeteria commodities for like a spaghetti or a chili dinner to raise money for their actual principal accounts. Sometimes they do this during parent-teacher conferences. Sometimes it's awards banquets, and sometimes it's benefits for a fire family or a student that has an illness. And they're able to use our free services and cafeteria employees at no charge for their freeness, so that in appreciation of them helping us with this breakfast. We also do collaborations with principals and cafeteria managers for open houses, health fairs, relays for life. The food service will provide snacks for that. This Friday we are having an in-service day, and we are preparing a hot breakfast and snacks for all the elementary staff at no charge. We did the Relay for Life as they were going around the track. The students made snack bottles with Cheerios, commodity trail mix, and marshmallows that they didn't have to pay for, but it was an activity that the students got to do. We also are able to work better with the actual cafeteria staff and the teachers. That relationship has really grown. It's a more professional partnership. It used to be kind of the cafeteria ladies and then the teachers, but now we all work together, and we actually are able to give money back to the maintenance department for their help of delivering our commodities. So we try to give back once that we have received all this financial help from Breakfast in the Classroom. We actually give back to the school district.
The key ingredient here, again, is you hear collaboration, support. You heard community benefits, improving the quality of the meals. If you have additional kids eating breakfast, your cafeteria program can meet that need the teachers ask for, is higher quality food and nutrition. And with the nutritional standards changing, we have to make that difference. We're also going to see a couple slides here in relationship to additional thoughts.
About 40% of our student population here that's on a free and reduced lunch. So many of these children, this is their breakfast when they come in. Some of the children come in for latchkey at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they haven't had anything to eat, and they need that fuel to tide them over until lunchtime.
Down here we have.
It's so essential because if these kids don't have an appropriate breakfast, Yeah, they're going to have blood sugar fluctuations. They're not going to be able to concentrate.
And I showed that one because that was a parent who volunteered at Hawthorne.
Feed your children, and they will increase their academics because they won't be hungry and they won't be worried about other things.
As you see that, we're going to come back to the point of the child. I did miss one of the slides earlier of Dr. Murray talking about the need for proper nutrition. The key ingredient is we started with the child, we're ending with the child. You are the individual that can make that difference. You observe some of the ways that breakfast is being served in the classrooms. You observe how this all works.
Well, thank you so much to our panelists today. We really appreciate all the time and effort you put into this PowerPoint. You did a wonderful job. I wanted to let you know that the webinar will be available for download on the NAESP Foundation website at www.naespfoundation.org. And for more information on the Breakfast in the Classroom initiative, you could visit www.breakfastintheclassroom.org. Thanks again and have a great day.
Kids, as they begin their day, need to have nutrition as fuel in order to reach their optimum potential in school. And this includes everything from their attention span to their ability to concentrate and their memory. So it becomes important after a night of fasting to use breakfast to break that fast and give them the fuel they need to perform their best during the school day.
Keep that in mind as you are putting breakfast in the classroom. Thank you.